one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking himself to be lower than the strong and sweet, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of any sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to God. In this state of mind, one can chant the holy name constantly. O son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servant. Although I am eternally your servant, I have no knowledge of it. I do not want to accumulate huge amounts of cash, nor do I want for the company of the living, nor am I seeking kind of liberation or motion. All that I want is that I might have your causeless devotions in my life, birth after birth after birth. All of them, but I can't remember all of them. Please forgive me. As I said a few days ago, I met my spiritual master, Laguna, on January 1st, 1969. The world was changing. My life changed that day forever. But I want to tell you today, I want to share with you how my Guru met his Guru. Jagat Guru Siddhaswarupananda appeared in this world June 14th, 1948. He was given the name Chris Butler, which he often said was a very good name, because it meant that he was. Is there something wrong with this microphone, Bob? It seems to keep going in and out. Maybe fix it, or is it? Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Going in and out. Everybody can hear me?
Yes.
Because I can't hear me. Okay, all right. Chris Butler always said it was a good name because it means that he was Krishna's butler. And he began his spiritual quest in his teens. He became the master of Ashtanga Yoga, as well as Kundalini Yoga. He would raise the Kundalini up his Sushumna. And by the time he was only 20 years old, he had mastered these two types of yoga and had attained what many call moksha, or liberation, into the impersonal aspect of God. But he opened his own meditation center in Haiku, Maui. It was called the Haiku Meditation Center. It was a beautiful 3-story home, built in the 1940s, and it was on 3 acres of land. It had a garage and a workshop and a storage area and a farm. In front of the house was a lovely farm where he grew organic vegetables, okra, corn, grains, all kinds of things. And I first attended a couple of his retreats. He would have 1 and 2 week long retreats where you would stay there, you'd get up early in the morning, and He would teach meditation techniques, silent meditation techniques. But he first came into contact with His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami on the same day I did, January 1st, 1969. When I met him, he met his spiritual master. And although Jagat Guru had already realized the impersonal Brahman feature of God, the teachings of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami drew him beyond the Brahman realization and to the personal aspect of God. By 1970, Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, which is the name given him by Bhaktivedanta Swami after he was initiated, he offered all of his possessions, houses, thousands and thousands of dollars, bank accounts, property, and more than 200 of his disciples. He offered them all at the feet of his Guru, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, begging that he accept all of them as his disciples. He offered his properties, his wealth, his position as an honored teacher, and hundreds of followers, and asked them all to become a humble servant of his spiritual master. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami accepted him as a disciple and gave him the name Siddhaswarupananda, which means Siddha is spiritual form. Siddha means spiritual. Swarup means form of the spiritual. And Ananda means bliss, so it's the spiritual form of bliss. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the strongest proponent of Bhakti Yoga, and he wanted to distribute spiritual love to everyone. 500 years ago in India, he gave this instruction. He said, by my command, be Guru, or spiritual teacher, and save the people from their suffering. So, Bhaktivedanta Swami passed on this instruction to his disciples, all of them. And Siddhaswarup Jagat Guru took it all very seriously. He took this instruction as his life and soul. Jagat Guru traveled penniless to Kauai, the northernmost of the Hawaiian Islands, where somehow, without any money, he was able to gain some property. And he opened a yoga ashram in the countryside. It had no running water, it had no electricity, but he taught Bhakti Yoga. He taught people to chant. He became a siksha, or instructing guru. Can I help you? Many people, not only in Hawaii, but all around the world, as a humble disciple of his divine grace. He would always send, people would come to him and say, I want to be your disciple, I want to learn from you, I want to be your student. And he would say, that's fine, but you need to accept the tutelage, you need to be initiated by my spiritual master. So he would send anyone that came and surrendered to him to Bhaktivedanta Swami for initiation and for teaching. It's not that he didn't teach, he also taught, of course, too. But the first step was to tell them, learn from Bhaktivedanta Swami first. So he was the instructing guru of many people all around the world And after the disappearance of his Gurudev, Bhaktivedanta Swami, in 1977, then and only then, Jagadguru took on the role of Diksha, or initiating Guru, and he began to initiate disciples. Today, Siddha Swarup has a worldwide following of tens of thousands of feedback. Only you can appreciate. Tens of thousands of individuals who are attempting to apply the teachings of this genuine bhakti yoga in their daily lives. And you might wonder why I'm reading from this that I wrote here. I wrote this some years ago so that I could remember all these things. And what I'm about to get to now, though, is something that Siddha Swarup wrote. Because he wrote about his own initiation and why he did what he did. I'm going to share that. It was published in the Back to Godhead magazine back in 1977 or 78, I believe. He says, whenever I refer to I'm talking about Siddha Swarup, okay? He said, I surrendered to Srila Prabhupada because he, being in the disciplic succession from Krishna himself, is the way out of this maze of philosophical speculation. He is the bona fide representative of God, and he is therefore infused with absolute knowledge, absolute potency, and absolute perfection. He can easily take anyone to God. And for those of you who are beyond the illusion that happiness somehow or other is supposed to lie in this material world, he will show you exactly what actions you need to engage in. No longer independent, no longer mentally concoctions, or mental attempts to turn on others is not necessary. As the Kali Yuga gets thicker, more confusing, so will the phone book's yellow pages under meditation centers, yoga, gurus, spiritual masters, and so forth. Up to this time, I have been a so-called spiritual master with many, many disciples. And so all I have managed to do so far is add to the confusion, making it so much harder for anyone to know the real path, which is actually absolute. In the Katha Upanishad, it says, in order to learn the transcendental science, one must approach a genuine spiritual master in disciplic succession, one who is fixed in the absolute truth. To be a spiritual master, one must be in the line of disciplic succession to Krishna himself. Such a person must be an acharya. He must live the perfect example of Krishna consciousness. As an example to others, Lord Chaitanya, who was himself an incarnation of God himself, humbly submitted himself at the feet of Isvarapuri, the contemporary spiritual master in the disciplic succession of the Gaudiya Madhya Sampradaya. Yet, I am such an arrogant, foolish idiot that I, who am nothing more than a lowly maggot in the ground, I somehow believe that They all need spiritual masters, but I didn't use them in any discipling situation. The first time I received the association of Srila Prabhupada's devotees, namely devotees named Gaurchandra and Govinda Dasi. I knew them well, wonderful devotees. It was at the very much celebrated Sunshine Music Festival held in Diamond Head Crater on New Year's Day in 1969. I had flown over from our meditation center on Maui to help conduct the festival's religious functions and lead meditation classes. I was inquisitive about them and their chanting of this Hare Krishna. I wandered over to their booth during the day. The devotees were all very kind to me. I sat down, chanted with them for a while. One of them showed me how to play the kartals, the finger cymbals. I still, to this day, haven't succeeded in learning to play them very well. But I also glanced through a Back to Godhead magazine for the first time. In this way, the seed, just the seed, perfect tree was planted. But because I knew nothing of the sweet fruit of that tree of devotional service, I took no effort to water it nicely. Besides, I was too busy being a fool. I was too busy trying to turn people on to the clear, bright light of all-pervasive enlightenment. Now you need to understand my position at the time. There was no desire from me for any kind of spiritual realization. I had already had the spiritual realization of the impersonal feature of God, which as far as I knew was as far as it went. And because the bliss derived from that was so much greater than any possible happiness or bliss that I've ever known in material life, I was moved to turn on others too. I had no idea about God in his original personal feature. I didn't even know there was such a thing. Much of my time, much of my energy was spent to try to find or learn the easiest and quickest means of spiritual realization of the impersonal aspect of God. And having sensed the spiritual power of the Hare Krishna mantra, I became intrigued, interested in using it as a tool for impersonal realization. So I incorporated this chanting into our Maui ashram program. The invisible potency of the Maha Mantra soon came to have visible effects. The beautiful forms of Krishna and his associates very quickly supplanted the pictures of the impersonalist gurus and mystics that I thought were so important. The Bhagavad Gita had been our main textbook for a long time, but we had been using a Bhagavad Gita that was translated by an impersonalist who, like myself, thought that the Hare Krishna mantra was a great way to gain impersonal realization. So I incorporated the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra into our program. But I did change the Bhagavad Gita. Now we began to use Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, which has a much more devotional attitude. Yoga exercises,